Why did the George Floyd autopsy not mention asphyxiation? Debbie Hines on the latest in the Chauvin Trial. Are there UFOs out there? What should we do about it? Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Our trial lawyer, legal political commentator, and former prosecutor and former Assistant Attorney General of Maryland, Debbie Hines. IamDebbieHines.com is her website, DebbieHines, and I am Debbie Hines, her Twitter handle. Debbie, welcome back. What happened in the Chauvin trial today?
So, today is starting off with another good day. We just finished main testimony, and they are starting, during the lunch break now. So Dr. Thom testified, and she's a forensic pathologist. She is not the pathologist who performed the George Floyd autopsy, but interesting enough, she is the person who trained Dr. Baker, who is the medical examiner that performed the autopsy. So she's obviously very well qualified. And I think that they had her on to just try to set the groundwork to eliminate some of the issues that they, take the wind out of the sails of the defense, because she set forth very clearly and distinctly that none of these things that the defense is bringing up, drugs, this, that, heart, all the other issues that they're bringing up had nothing to do with his death. The reason that he died had to do with his heart and lung stuff, and that's the result of the subdural restraint and the knee on his neck. So she was very, very good in that regard, and she just checked off the boxes. Nope, no phenol was the result. Nope, not this. Nope, no meth. Nope, no COVID. This was the result of it. So I think she was really good. But one of the points she made, Tom, which really helped me, she said she doesn't use, I always wondered why the medical examiner that performed the autopsy, Dr. Baker, did not say that the cause of death was due to asphyxiation. And she said that's not a term that she would use, because she said it doesn't explain anything. So she gave the example of if someone hangs themselves, and that would be by asphyxiation. But she said she wouldn't use the term. She would say that they died as a result of the hanging. So she's just trying to be very clear up that little problem that some people have in their minds about Dr. Baker's autopsy, because as you may recall, the independent autopsy that was performed by Mr. Floyd's family did say that he died as a result of asphyxiation.
Mm-hmm. So basically it sounds, Debbie, like all these threads are coming together in just a very, very clear, vivid, and extraordinarily painful, frankly, explanation that Derek Chauvin cut off George Floyd's ability to breathe in several different ways, compressing his chest and with the knee on his neck. And that loss of the ability to breathe, in fact, I had been assuming up until I'd heard this testimony that his carotid artery had been compressed and that it was cutting off the flow of blood to his brain, or to half his brain anyway, and that had something to do with it. But I was obviously very wrong on that. That basically they just didn't let him breathe, and then the horror of Chauvin sitting on him or standing on him with his knee for another 3 minutes after he was already dead. I can't imagine being in that courtroom.
I mean, the thing that was apparent yesterday is that Mr. Floyd died such a gruesome and grueling death because we're just saying it was because of the knee. Mm-hmm. His body, the ground.
I'm sorry, you dropped out there for a second, Debbie.
Okay, his feet were on the ground, and so his whole weight of his body weight on George Floyd, as well as the additional 40 pounds of gear that he had on him. And
right, he had lifted his foot off. Right, had lifted his foot off the pavement. So we still haven't heard the defense begin their argument, and I assume we still don't know when they're going to start. But based on, and I know I asked you this a couple days ago, but just for an update, based on the questions that are being asked on cross-examination by the defense witness, Mr. Nelson, are you seeing a defense emerging?
In the defense, that cross-examination of Dr. Thomas today, the defense wants to say, well, and this is what they said, if you take out, the police activity of Derek Chauvin and the knee on his neck, if you take that out, couldn't Mr. Floyd have died as a result of a heart attack? Couldn't he have died as a result of fentanyl in his system? Couldn't he have died as a result of meth in his system? Couldn't he have died as a result of blood clots? But that was a big takeout. So, they're just trying to harp on what they can. They don't have that much to work with after yesterday's testimony by Dr. Chauvin. I mean, the pulmonologist just laid everything out, gave the jury examples, gave them little examples that they could use themselves while they're sitting in the.
Oh, Debbie just faded out again.
But, I'm not why, but sometimes there's a bad disconnect and I can't move the phone at this point.
Yeah, that's okay.
Sometimes, it's just one of those days. But the defense is not working with a lot, but you can always find any expert to say anything that you want them to say. And if you pay them, you can find them to say anything.
So we're going to see a parade when the defense begins. We're going to see a parade of people rehashing these. Well, he was a big, strong guy. He should have been able to resist that kind of pressure, and he was on drugs and quack, quack, quack. And don't you think that all America, as well as the jury, is going to go, yeah, really?
That's what all of America thinks. But again, remember, Tom, there can be just as much as we, you and I, and many other people across the street.
Yeah, Debbie, your phone
there can also still be one person. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I do now.
There can still be one. There can still be one person that can still be holding out for the officer, or just scientifically thinking, well, I think they did raise a reasonable doubt, so I'm just not going to go along with it. And we just won't know that until the jury comes back.
Right, and I'm guessing during jury selection, the defense was looking for that one person. It'll be interesting to see if they got them. Debbie Hines, I am Debbie Hines. Yeah, I agree. I am DebbieHines.com and also on Twitter. I am Debbie Hines. Debbie, thanks so much for dropping by. It's always great getting your insights.